And
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for finding the time, Robert. So I
sure,
just
yeah,
thought that it would be great to get even more aligned, before we
yes,
start tomorrow. So I just have like some questions to ask you, and
okay.
then how it goes, right? So first of all, how are the fonts? Did you have the time to
I
go
had
over?
the time to go over. There were some things that I've changed, to it, but I think and there was some spacing issues, but I
Yeah.
think it's all okay now. So thank you for sending them ahead of time. That was really helpful.
Yeah, and thank you for sending ahead of time the schedule and the poems, which I discovered only today that you did that on Wednesday, and I was so busy, but I didn't realize that. But I have translated the schedule already, so the Connors
Okay.
have it. All right.
Okay,
Anyway,
great.
but thank you for sharing in advance. I really appreciate that. It's just that day was kind of busy.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So regarding the presentation itself, I just wanted you to kind of a little comment on some of the slides, so for my own better
Yeah,
understanding of them.
right.
And the
Sure.
first one is the Hume's one,
Yes.
the new slide. So
Let me I can share them
you
maybe.
share, right? Yeah. Uh-huh.
One. They're here. Uh
Mm-hmm.
and let's see, here's the Hume one, this new one.
Yeah. So I kind of understand why you put it there, but I just wanted you to comment a little bit. What's the logic behind it? How do you do you want to incorporate it? Like, what's the thought
Well,
behind it?
because I think so. First of all, we're talking about that even science is based on assumptions.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the assumptions is that the future is going to be like the present and the past. The other is that you can actually see cause and effect, which you can't. You can see that something happens and then something
Mm-hmm.
happens after that, and you assume it's cause and effect. But not
Mm-hmm.
everything that happens and then the next thing that happens is the one didn't necessarily cause it.
All right.
And then the other is then you can also that given those assumptions you can say, well, if there's this effect then this cause must be there. Well,
Mm-hmm.
and again, if you look at the history of science, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of times when you think that something is causing something, or something is making something happen, especially in things like medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so it's just that it's these fundamental, we need, the whole point is we build our reality even when people think, well, this is science. Well, science is sleight of mouth as well. And that's
Yeah.
why I'm following it with the um, Polya's patterns, because he's saying these are how you build beliefs. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
that's why that's there.
So they're kind of a counter to each other in a way, right?
They're a complement to each other,
Compliment. All right. Mm-hmm.
because you know Polly is saying, okay, so we don't know, we can't observe cause and
Mm.
effect for sure. We're not, we live in a world of uncertainty. That's mathematics is a world of uncertainty. I just actually read today that they calculated the biggest prime number that has something like 26,000, decimal,
Okay.
something like that. But meaning that you have an equation that you think this is how you tell, these are all these, this equation produces prime numbers. But then you
Mm-hmm.
find, well, wait a minute, here's one that was not predicted by that equation. So
All right.
the problem with math is that there's an infinite number of numbers. So you can never know, you get out there to, you know, many
Mm-hmm.
trillion, billion, gazillion, and you find counterexamples to the thing. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the idea, is that so how do you, and then of course as you get into social systems, you get into social media, you get into all the things that are going on, we have to build beliefs based on very, very incomplete
Mm-hmm.
information. And so
Right.
that's what Polya's things are about.
So you said that they are complementary, but as just from the first view, it's like Hume is saying, "Oh, we can right reason this way," but then Polius says,
He's saying that these are
"We doubt
assumptions.
that a little, right?"
He's saying that these are assumptions. He's saying that that's not necessarily true. that
Oh, so his point is actually that these are not necessarily true, right? Because
these are an assumption.
Right.
He's saying that,
oh, that's why they're called assumptions. Okay, got it.
Yeah, this is what science is, and that's what I'm saying. These assumptions are things that sleight of mouth challenges, because somebody goes, we proved that this causes that. You say, well, wait a minute,
Yeah, I got it. I just read a little bit on Hume before, and I was kind of just because
Hume actually is he was saying that these assumptions are actually not rational. It's not rational to assume that, because rationally the future could be different than the past. Rationally, you can't necessarily observe cause and effect.
By the way, I read something about like the example for the Gandhi's example. There's like the billiard ball analogy of the white ball and the red line. Is it coming from Hume? Something like I heard.
Probably that's coming. Hume used that because he says, let's say, the red ball hits the white ball, and then the white ball moves, and we say, oh, the red ball caused the white ball to move. But you could also, the reality is that doesn't really. There's a transfer of energy. So if the red ball, imagine, the red ball is like a ping pong ball, and then the white ball is a lead ball. You're going to hit it, and then the white ball is going to bounce off. When you go, well, wait, the white ball, the red ball to move. And we make a lot of assumptions when we observe things.
So this analogy in the Gandhi's example is showing that cause effect are not always that obvious, right?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
And that's why, one of these strategies of genius is that you're always looking for the deeper structure. This ball doesn't really cause that ball to move. What causes it to move is a transfer of energy. If these two balls were of completely different masses, that energy transfer wouldn't happen, even if they're equal size, So you have to say, well, wait a minute, the ball didn't cause it. It was the energy transfer that caused it. And that energy transfer is based on all these other things. That's what Einstein, did. So these kind of strategies of genius are realizing, we look at these things on a very surface level, and there's actually a lot more going on underneath, which is what sleight of mouth is trying to get at when you use it.
Got it. So I just kind of got
interested. That's good. Thank you for checking on that, because I can imagine that if you're, when you're reading those, you don't necessarily know what I'm thinking or how I'm.
Well, that's why I'm asking. Like the analogy in the Gandhi's example was kind of short and was like, what does it mean? And then I found like the same kind of information in the Hume's.
Right.
I was talking actually to ChatGPT and just I asked him, like, could you give me examples of Hume's assumptions? And then the ChatGPT gave me this example of the red ball, white ball. And it's like, oh, there's a connection there. But anyway, okay, nice.
Yeah, because on the one hand, we of course have to assume we live in a world of cause and effect. There is cause and effect. What Hume is saying is that you really can't just trust that if you observe something that looks like cause and effect, that it is cause and effect, and in fact, in other circumstances, because you have things are not usually one single cause. The reason that this ball can roll on that table and hit that ball is because you've got gravity, and then you've got inertia, you've got all kinds of other things that are going on that are all at play there. If you look at it not from a material perspective, but from like an energy perspective, which is what the geniuses like Tesla and people like that did, you see, well, this is a whole other world that we're looking at, and then you can interact with that world in a different way than just this kind of more surface level sense.
In our human interaction, if you're looking at that point, we are adding another object, so it's not already subject,
right?
It's somebody or it's a living being which you are interacting with, and so you have to add with cause effect. You have to, like Bateson wrote, you have to you don't know how dog is going to answer. If you if you kick the ball will just run. But if you kick the dog, what is that? What, or a person?
That's that whole idea. Yeah, Bateson's idea of collateral energy. You know, the dog. You know, Bateson says. So what Oksana is pointing out, Sergey, is like Bateson says. Yeah, if you kick a ball, you can assume by the angle of your kick, you know, by the velocity, by the mass of the ball, you can predict it's going to go so far in such a direction. If you kick the dog in the same velocity with the same direction, there is no way that you can predict it's going to just go this far, because it has its own inner energy source. And so a lot of, and this is what he said, a lot of, science is assuming that there's, like, the ball doesn't have can't generate its own energy, but, a bird can, a living thing can, and so you can't make the same predictions. And this is where it becomes much more uncertain, as Oksana was saying, and then you get into language. You could say, oh, he said this, that caused that person to have that feeling. Well, that, so there's a whole thing. I mean, I was even just thinking, there's that whole horrible thing happening in Gaza, where they're saying, Israel bombed it. No, they're saying it was an errant missile. So this is the reality that you were dealing with, and who caused what, and then that could be that, because nobody knows for sure, but however that is determined could end up creating, that many more deaths, so it's not just, oh yeah, it's an interesting kind of a scientific or, rational idea. These are how people make decisions. And these decisions also have big consequences. And that's kind of what I'm trying to get at,
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Right. Thank you for commenting on that. I have another technical one from the presentation. Can you please open and demonstrate the one with Mark Antony? Like, the overall map. And I have a small question that you could probably comment on.
Okay, I'm sure.
Like, that's kind of the last one that summarizes like the whole speech that he gave.
Right. So there's this one.
Yeah, I guess that's the one. So you can see there are like little arrows between intent and another outcome, and consequence, and then another intent, another outcome, and then consequence. So I just wanted you to give a little comment on the meaning of those arrows, because I was trying to follow the meaning, but I would rather you like explain.
Sure. So this is just showing. So he says, I've come to, bury Caesar, not to praise Caesar. But actually his intent is to praise Caesar and disprove Brutus.
Okay. So like the hidden intent, right? Okay.
I don't want to wrong the consequences. He's actually wronging the conspirators.
Okay.
People to minds and rage, but that's what he's doing. And then, they get them to mourn and appreciate Caesar. And then he says, I'm not going to read Caesar's will, because it's going to inflame you and make you mad. And I'm not going to steal away your hearts, which is exactly what he does. And all of that, adds up to inciting people.
Okay, so the intent there is the one that's real, not the one he's kind of proclaiming, but the one that is.
Every time that's not his intent, that is his intent.
Yeah. I'm not doing that. Like, you're doing exactly that.
Things he said he wasn't going to do, and he did.
Yeah. Right. Okay. That makes sense. Thank you. Right.
Make people, rise up to kill the co-conspirators, or to.
Yeah. Right.
So that's there to show he did the sequence. That
every time I watch this little video, or read this, I get more energy. I get energized like every time. It's just magic.
Wondering if was going to ask you about that little video. So, Oksana, I don't know if you know that.
I have informed Oksana that I have created the videos today. The video.
Because I was wondering, given that it was slow last time, if it actually would be better for me to show it from my computer, or, I'm not sure how that, because I'm not sure what was hanging it up.
We'll ask engineers. I'll write Volodya after our conversation.
All right.
Computer.
I'll share the videos with you as well, just in case you have them, Robert. I don't know why, but Zoom just sometimes randomly, for me at least, randomly does that. I don't know what it depends on. It just is absolutely random. I don't know. I could try and demonstrate it right now, just like a quick experiment.
It's great. It's one of my. It says Marlon Brando in it, who's does a great job. I think that's the one you have, right? Yes, Marlon.
Yeah, I just want to play it a little bit.
Sure.
Not the whole thing, and tell me how it's going.
Друзья, внемлите мне. Честный бруд его. А если так, то это тяжкий грех.
So how is it?
So far, so good, but it looked like it skipped from the beginning. Did you skip ahead?
I skipped. I just clicked the button just to see the moment when he was.
Oksana, was that okay for you as well?
Yeah, I think it was okay.
All right, so I'm gonna try and demonstrate it the same way, but I'm not sure. Like last time, I did a little bit differently. The demonstration shouldn't depend on that, but hopefully it'll be better. One thing, I'm not gonna have the subs for it. There's only I didn't find the subtitles, so it's only like the video
or what he's. But we'll have. I mean, I think like last time, we'll have already gone over it.
Yes,
and they'll know essentially what he's saying anyway. Here.
And by the way, if I start the broadcast and by any reason it's glitchy, then probably you could start, or the technicians could start the demonstration, and then maybe it'll work out in case, like in the beginning.
Saying that maybe the technicians would just do it from the beginning, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Maybe it's better that you.
Yeah. Okay. We'll try to figure this out.
We'll ask engineers, Robert, and we'll have an answer.
Let's find out.
Yeah.
I think engineers can give us the best answer.
They will.
Yeah, okay. And by the way, I have created two versions of that. A long one that includes all the the speech and the people's reactions, but it's 10 minutes. So I just cut the pieces of the speech that you presented on the slides, and that's only 5 minutes. I think that's going to be more appropriate for the
5 minutes. Going to be long enough. What's interesting though, and because I've read through that so many times, it's interesting the delivery that Brando does is interesting, how he emphasizes different things, and it's kind of Any others like Charlton Heston did one, and it's really different. So actually the way that the nonverbal is done. Yeah,
it's a great play. I gotta say, like, to me in Russian, it sounds a little bit better even, because like the voiceover is kind of deeper, even deeper than Marlon Brando's, and in Russian it sounds great to me, at least.
Good. Okay. Good. I think that'll be fun.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
So the idea tomorrow is the first, before the afternoon break, I'm going to be presenting the kind of introducing the Hume idea and connecting that with the patterns of polya, and then going over how you use the polya patterns to challenge belief. And actually do a demo and kind of walk through the different polya patterns with somebody to explore, some kind of a limiting belief they want to work with. And then we'll do the Mark Antony speech, where he's actually doing, he's doing that. He's going, well, this should be the consequence, but ambition should be made of sterner stuff. If he was ambitious, that would not be, So he's actually using these polya patterns to, in that speech, which is, I think, is really interesting. How he, is it's a really good example of that. And then on Sunday, I'm going to start with the Gandhi and kind of be moving to, instead of like a lot of these things are like with Lincoln, it's kind of disproving something. With Antony, it's disproving something. With Gandhi, it's about connecting to something bigger. And then with Oprah Winfrey, it's really about, using sleight of mouth, not to disprove something, but to create a whole, this sort of belief system that can, work, kind of seemingly miracles. I mean, the fact that she became who she was is not at all, predictable. Right. So I'm going to basically, what I'm going to do is with Oprah Winfrey, I'm going to just walk people actually through her belief system and just go, imagine taking this on in your life, because it's actually quite empowering.
Wow. It's an amazing idea.
Take people into this place where, okay, you're not your circumstances, your possibilities, you are the one who is actually, painting your, life stroke by stroke, etc. So I think it'll be a nice way to sort of send people with realization that sleight of mouth is not just to be used manipulatively or to anti-manipulatively. It can actually be used in, it's the magic of sleight of mouth can create, these remarkable lives. And that's why I also was putting the little, I don't know if you call them icons, but the connections to the strategies of genius on there. So you're saying, oh, if you use sleight of mouth with the genius, you get this kind of very positive, magical kind of result.
Yeah, and I think speaking of result, it's very nice to see on this final slide like the belief that we're leading to. Like you have the limiting belief, and above of it, you added the one.
I really wanted to put that in there because I think those are the two, and the kind of what's important to always to keep in mind anyway with sleight of mouth is that you're not really just against one. I mean, even with Lincoln, he's doing kind of disproving in a way this theological support of slavery, but obviously he has a different belief than that. That should be. I mean, he even says that that this should be the belief, not that. This should be the rule. Not the rule. So I do think that having the two together gives you a much more, how do I say, it's again, it's not just attacking something, then it's actually, you're contrasting.
Okay. I have one question left. I noticed that in the schedule you have, if I'm not mistaken, 45 minutes for an exercise after the demonstration for the people, for to challenge their own beliefs, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
So the idea is they would go, I'm going to do the demo. They would go in the breakout room and kind of follow that. And, that's where I was saying the slides that I put for the workbook, or not the slides, the pages for the workbook would be important so that when they go into that room, that's what they're going to be doing. So they're going to be, let me go back to the slides again for a moment.
You mean those should be added to the worksheets separately, or what?
Well, the worksheets, if they're not going to get the workbook till later, it would be good for them to at least have the worksheets.
Oh, you mean the booklet, right? Yeah, they were going to have the booklet later. So unfortunately, I didn't have time to translate.
This is what they're going to be doing. They're going to be
yeah. Those they will have. Yeah,
and filling in this. So this is what I'm going to demo. I'll give it and say what's that.
Are they going to be a separate file for them like last time, so we kind of gather in all exercises separate together?
That we would be able to do. So there would be they could at least get, that slide. And then with Gandhi, there's the Gandhi one.
I will, Oksana, I will send you like a PDF and a Word file this evening for those exercises, the worksheets. All right.
Okay.
So my question, Robert, should I add there the Polius questions
also,
or what?
Yes, that's exactly. I was just remembering that. So the other one should be this one.
It's like four slides, right? In worksheet.
There's 4 exercises.
Yeah.
Polya one, this one where you're exploring the patterns and you're asking these questions.
Okay.
And then the Mark Antony one, which is this, where is it? It's this one. So 2. And actually the Polya has, if we do it with slides, it would be 2 slides and then this one. Otherwise, we can do it with the worksheets that I sent. The third exercise is going to be the Gandhi one, which is that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fourth one is going to be, I suppose.
The fourth one is the guided one, like with you, right?
I'm going to guide. They're not. They won't be going into a breakout room for that one. That one I'll just take everybody through at the end.
Yeah, the opera.
So there are the 3 worksheets actually.
Right. So it's only 3 worksheets.
Yeah. Okay. I'll make those like in a couple of hours and send it to you, Oksana. All right.
All right. I think it makes sense to include opera exercise to the worksheet, maybe.
Well, just that last slide with with all of the
okay.
things.
All right. Okay. So that's mostly it.
While I'm guiding them to, they have that worksheet there.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're good.
So I don't want to take more of your time, Robert. This half an hour is more than I could hope for. Thank you very much.
Thank you for all
Robert, I have a couple of questions from our channel readers and viewers of our broadcasts and so on. Do you have like a couple of minutes or 5 minutes?
Sure. And will Sergey need to?
I'll stay with you then, if it's okay. All right.
Sure.
I would love to listen.
Do you maybe then want to, if I answer, is it going to be will you be sending it to people?
Maybe I'll be translating on the go.
I would like to do it in English because then we can use on the both Russian and English audience.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'm going to continue.
Then I'm going to turn off my video then, right?
I could actually pin only Robert and me, so you don't have to.
All right.
Okay, guys, let me